it's really striking to see that how global the world is now, and so the urban regeneration is not just a local process. So the stakeholders are not just the local stakeholders, but also the global stakeholders, and they have different interests. So that's another issue when we try to strive for this equilibrium. We have also to think about these global forces. That Lisbon is very much part of the global community.
How to achieve this equilibrium? All the people talk about that. It's difficult.
Yeah, it is, and so indeed cities tend to grow to look like each other because the Zara indeed is everywhere, especially what's inside. And so here it's in an historic building, and I think it's relatively well done. So it's not intrusive. They didn't destroy the building. But indeed, the collection is the same as in the Netherlands.
So at the same time, we have this idea that cities have, have all their Zaras, but at the same time they have to achieve their identity. Yeah. It's a kind of a paradox in a way.
It is, and then you talk really about things like this. So this kind of pavement, the tiles here, the color of the light. So that makes the Portuguese context and the people, the food. But also there it's a big tension because indeed the tourists expect somehow identity, but also they expect the same thing everywhere. So they want to have their coffees, they want to have their nice food. So there is room for identity, but it's limited because it shouldn't be too far from home somehow.
Finally, we are see it as not only an interesting thing, but a serious thing.
Yeah.
So it's like for so many years, tourism is seen as it's tourism, okay.
It's 2 months per year. But
less.
It's not like that. I think indeed also in terms of economic value, it's one of the biggest industries. So and it's one of the biggest growing industries. So it's very serious. And there are not. It's not like in the oil industry you have like 10 big players. So in tourism industry, it's very dispersed, and it's very, in a way, very individual and very democratic. And of course, many cities in the world have these districts. Also in Amsterdam we used to have this, and it has been transformed maybe 10 years ago. It lost some of its character, so we can also learn from the mistakes we did in other cities. In Barcelona, of course, you have El Raval or Barceloneta, and it's also in the process of being transformed. So how can we learn from other cities and come up with a strategy that can work here?
But this you have to hear.
But the funny thing is we did also a project in Belgrade, and there in fact the city did everything to attract more tourists because they wanted to benefit from the tourism. But actually that means that right now it still feels like, okay, I'm in a city where the tourist is not dominating the scene, but this city is doing everything it can to attract more. Yeah.
Another paradox.
Yeah, that's another paradox. Yeah. What we did today is this little tour. Actually, you see that the city is improving a lot, and luckily, in most places, the character is still maintained. So the houses are improved, the streets are improved. There's luckily still some green in the city. So if this transformation is slow and organic, then I think it's good for the city because it's bringing some of the historic character of the city back while some of the areas have been degraded over the past 50 years.
Just one.
I think I have to wear sunglasses.